Hey everybody, good morning. This is Chris here in Hawaii. We're at the London close. It's 4:15 p.m. Thanks for joining me. And kind of a lot to cover today in terms of news. Um, but let's start off with the trade from yesterday. So this is kind of the format I'm going to try to use here. If there's a trade from the day before, we'll cover it no matter what before we kind of get into today's business. So this was the pound yen. We got in here at 138.49.5, and you can see it dropped and it tested our level, our stop here, but it never closed below it. So that's the rule, and it kind of balanced off of this area here. So if you can remember, I said that nothing had ever closed below this, and I wasn't interested if it did close below that, and it didn't. So kind of going on later into the session, and it spiked up, and I'd say mid-Asia, we hit our profit target. So obviously, you can see if we would have held on, it would have been a much, much bigger trade. But nonetheless, it was a winner for us. So good start to the week there. All right, let's take a look at the heat map. That actually, before I do that, I just want to mention here. So when you see volume like this, right here, you can see this just big block of volume, and it's not a double pyramid or it's not a pyramid where it goes up and there's a point and then it goes down. Here, let me. Let me see here. There's nothing I can draw on this. I'll do it next time. But you can see drawing down into a pyramid and then a real spike downward. You can see there's a block. And when it shows you like this, that tells you there's usually a period of consolidation. So you want to see what side of the channel you're on, and depending on what the fundamentals are and what you're looking at, that's where we were towards the bottom of the channel on this one, and you could see when it went down into here, it ran into just a lack of volume here, a lack of follow through. So that tells you at the very least it was going to stay in the channel, and you could see it broke out. It kind of tested coming down in the channel and then just took off. So be on the lookout for that when you see that type of volume here. I mean, you can see here with the price action here that'll usually tell you what's going on, but that is indicative of the channel when you're looking at volume profile. So just thought I'd share that for today. Let's take a look at the heat map here. All right, so the yen is just being sold off. So it looks just off the bat when you're looking at price action to be more of a risk on day. Swiss franc is actually bought up slightly, so that's interesting. Everything else is pretty mixed except for the pound, which is up. So yen sold off across the board. I'm assuming I'm going to see something for that in the news. Pound is definitely being bought up, and dollar being sold off again. Euro is actually mixed, so that's interesting as well. Stock markets, the Dow is down, S&P is up, NASDAQ up slightly. The VIX is starting to bump up though. Let's see here. The European markets were mixed. Asia was mixed. Bonds are up across the board, with the German Bund being up the most, and the yen being up the least on bonds. Oil's up, gold is down. So that's what the markets look like. Let's see here. U.S. China keeping their trade deal on track. So there was some positive news. With the phase one trade deal, they were saying the phone call was constructive according to Chinese officials. So there was some upbeat investor sentiment on coronavirus. Let's see here. Um, Euro gained on some sturdy German data, but it was still fairly range bound, as we could see. The pound caught a bid with the dollar negative move, so it wasn't really anything strong for the UK. Aussie is mixed because it was bid on the positive mood, but payrolls point to job losses too. So looking at this, I would say I'd be interested in selling the pound. I think the Aussie could be weak as well. So those would be the two that would be the weaker moves. I'd probably be a buyer of the euro based on the German data. So I'd be looking to anything with a long on the euro, soft pound, soft Aussie. So let's take a look and see if there's any levels that we can find here. I'm going to just scan here the auto chart just real quick. I want to see if we have anything substantially worth moving here. Let's take a look. Okay, I'm looking right now to see what if any levels here we have. Let's take a look. So there is an Aussie US that rejected here. Let me take a look at that. Okay, let's remove all this stuff. So a little bit of a smaller chart here. So the level is at 71.80. So I always like to just mark the level here just to kind of see what's going on. Okay, so you can see it's spiked above this area of former resistance, and it broke right through, and then it dropped. So the question is, will it continue to drop, or is this thing just temporary? Is this thing going to spike up here? So you can see it's already running into some resistance there. So let's take a look at the volume and see. You can look at that. You see, remember what we were just talking about? So this looks like a period of consolidation here, unless it breaks through one end or the other. Let's take a look. Yeah. Don't know if this thing's really going to move either direction. You can see over the last 45 minutes, it's been range bound between a 10 pip area. So let's take a look here. If we go down further all the way, look at that level, right on the money. So the volume that's definitely the turning point there. Let's go to a little bit of a higher time frame and see what we have here. Look at that. Yeah, I don't see a lot here. You can see it's definitely kind of consolidating here. Tried to drop once, and then it tried to spike up, but you can see this was less pronounced. Okay. I think that jobs data hurt the Aussie here. Let's take a look and see what we have on pound US, because I think this might be a little bit more favorable of a move. So definitely spiked up above this level here. There was definitely a lot of orders, and it built up right there. Let's take a look at the volume here. So you see that this is more of a pyramid, right? Pyramid. Some volume right into here. The bulk of the volume is here, the inflection point. So what I would like to see is I'd like to see a rebound maybe up to here, and then a drop down into this area. So we're looking at maybe if we can get up another 10 pips, we'd take an order for sure on this. I'd be interested if if it stopped above 131.47, I wouldn't be interested anymore. But if we can get in here, we're looking at like a 13 pip stop with possible a 30 pip profit. So like a 2.5 to 1 reward to risk. So let's keep an eye on this one. Like I said, we're looking for another 10 pips here in the upward direction to take this thing south. So let's hold off and watch and see. And while we're doing that, let me, I'm going to scan and see what else we have going on here. Yeah, you know, the question, though, if this stays here, would it be worth our while to maybe look for a possible short or a possible long? The pound's not very strong. Yeah, I'd like to see this thing get up into this area, and I would take the short at this point. Let's just keep an eye on it, and we'll see what happens, guys. So at this point, I'm going to be looking at pound US and then Aussie US. think that the U.S.-China positivity on trade is going to bode well for U.S. dollar. The yen is going to get sold off for a little bit, so I wouldn't get into the yen today. I don't see anything else that's really worthwhile here, guys. What's interesting to me is, Australian dollars should be positive for U.S. China, but those jobs figures were kind of pointing to a downward trend here for Australia, which is not good. So let me see if I see anything else here worth our time. Let's see here. So anyway, while I'm looking for this, I thought I would share with you kind of a good way to manage yourself from constantly looking at trades. So for me, and this creeps up every once in a while, I mean, I'll be honest with you here, is I find myself looking at my phone a lot more than I should be, just kind of watching this trade. Because I have a soft stop, I kind of get a little worried. We're all kind of into that, wanting the profit mode. But, the best way you could do this is just set a price alert. If it hits that level, it'll alert you, and you can get in the market and the mindset and make decisions. But if your mind's always focused on the markets, a lot of you I know are looking to do this and supplement your income, or some of you are maybe even looking to go full time. Well, what's the point if you're replacing one full-time job with another? The whole point of this, at least for me, is to cut down on work time and enjoy more life. So if you're always looking at the markets and focusing on this, you're kind of missing the point of why you're doing it. And it's important that you set boundaries for yourself and don't get too into it, especially because if you're always into it, you're going to make bad decisions. With the current strategy that I'm showing you and I'm talking to you about, nothing good is going to come of you watching this thing all day long. So you want to set that price alert. If you're Hawaii time for me, you go to bed and, you're done. For those of you in London or Europe that are trading this and want to close, this is actually a pretty good strategy because you can set an alert on your phone. And the volatility is not substantial going into Asia until London open the next day. So nothing crazy is going to happen. Knock on wood. But what you can even do is just set a hard stop. I mean, what I do is I'll set a hard stop twice my soft stop area. And if it hits that, it hits that. And as long as your profit is over 1-to-1 on that, I mean, you're still going to do okay. And you can set the price alert if you want to do that. But if you want to just set it and forget it until the next morning, do that. I mean, that's a good strategy to approach it with. And, when we're trading this, I'd say before you guys go to bed here in the next 4 hours or 4 to 5 hours, you'll generally catch the direction that it's going in. And if it goes in your direction for a while, you can even set your stop to break even on this thing too, because chances are, if it's going in your direction and it comes back to test, it's gonna stop you out. What you'll see and what you saw yesterday with pound yen is sometimes it tests that level, and that's that area that we're confident will hold. There's a higher probability. And if it holds and it starts going in your direction, chances are it's going to continue. If it goes in your direction and then reverses, chances are you're getting stopped out. So keep that in mind when you're trading this. And like I said, just put the phone down. Don't check it every 5 minutes. Only bad's going to happen from it. And trust me, I do it more than I care to admit. But that's part of trading. And the less you do it, the more you can enjoy normal things. So that would be my suggestion for you today. And I figured I'd just share that because that's something that I've dealt with. I think on a little tougher scale. So hopefully you guys can gain some insight into that and some wisdom, and take advantage of it in your trade. Another way to do this is, a lot of experts talk about not day trading because it's noise. There's a lot of noise, but I'm going to play devil's advocate on that one, and I'm going to say that a lot of the proprietary trading firms, the rules are set up to where you close your books at the end of your trading day, and you definitely close at the end of the week. So it doesn't bode well for swing or long-term trading. So unless your stops are hundreds of pips, trading where you go to your desk, you do your trades, close it up, and you're done, is not the worst thing in the world in terms of strategy, because you're able to focus when you need to, and you're done when you're done. So thought I would share those those tidbits on that. All right. Well, hey, let's back to trading. I don't see anything other than these two guys that is really worth our time. Let me just take a look and see here. All right, guys. Well, hey, I think these are the two that we're going to stick with. I don't really see anything else. I mean, hmm. Okay, guys. Well, hey, I'm going to chime off here sound wise, but let's see if this thing can get up to the, like I said, that 131, 33 level, and maybe, kind of show us some type of bounce off. I'd be interested here, but otherwise, I think we're gonna hold off here. Aussie US. Don't know if this thing has enough movement for us to be really interested. So it's really pound US that we're kind of looking at here. If you want to look at price action, one other possibility that we could look at would be euro yen. I'm sorry, euro pound. Euro pound. So let's take a look at that. So it's right at the figure at 90.01. The level, that's the exact level here. Yeah, 90.01. Let's mark that. There we go. Let's take a look. We're waiting for this pound to. Okay, let's take a look here. So you can see the volume is definitely above it, so it's primed for a move down. You can see that. I think the euro could just be fighting the dollar here, and that's kind of where we're at with this. Let's see. Yeah, I think this thing will run into some resistance here. I think this thing's going to just stall at this point. We'll keep an eye on it, but I'd be more interested in the pound US. All right, guys. Well, hey, I don't know if we'll have a trade today, but let's keep an eye on it, and we'll go from there. You can see this thing might break out. All right. Well, hey, I will chime back on if there are any trades to take today. But right now we're kind of holding off. So let's see how this develops, and we'll go from there. And I'm going to keep an eye on the levels as well. See if there's any moves that we could possibly make on this. So, all right. Thanks, guys.